I know you're an avid reader, Liam. I just wondered if you were familiar with Lawrence Block's novels before this project came up.
Do you know, I'm ashamed to say, and I am an avid reader, and I'm actually an avid reader of crime novels. I'm so into these Nordic noirs at the moment. Joe Nesbo's and Henning Menkel, and there's a few others. But Larry Block has written 17 books since the 70s based on this Matt Scudder, Walk Among the Tombstones. And no, I hadn't read them at all. I've since read, now we shot the film last year, I've since read about 7 or 8 of them.
And what was it about Scott Frank's screenplay that particularly appealed to you when you read it for the first time?
He was, the character was that kind of American iconic guy that I loved to see when I was growing up in Ireland, watching movies on a rainy Sunday afternoon. Robert Mitchum in a raincoat, playing a Philip Marlowe character. Later on, it would have been Steve McQueen, I guess, certainly Clint Eastwood in the Dirty Harry films, Charles Bronson, maybe to a certain extent. There was something about these guys that was very, very, very iconic. They were stoic. They always had a kind of a shady, mysterious past, and but had a good moral ethic compass operating all the time, you know?
What would you say Scudder gets out of taking on these cases like we see in the film? Apart from the financial gain, you don't really get the impression that's what's motivating.
No, I think we without giving it away for your viewers, it's the storyline. Something tragic happened to him that made him leave the NYPD, the New York Police Force. And I think he's constantly looking for redemption. And he takes this case on of this horrendous murder to kind of seek some kind of, to assuage his soul somewhat, you know. He's a recovering alcoholic. He's kind of broken. He's a broken man, you know. And but because he served so long in the NYPD, it's part of his DNA, you know. So this case comes up and he has to get to the root cause of it and find these guys, you know.
And you have several scenes with Dan Stevens.
Sure.
You know, what do you admire about him as a fellow performer? And had you seen him in Downton?
I had maybe seen about 3 Downton Abbeys. I'm ashamed to say I have. I will see the whole set when it's finished, the box sets. Michelle Dockery I did a film with last year. He was absolutely beautiful, lovely to work with. Dan's the same. He's a lovely, gentle man, and he's playing this heroin trafficker, you know. He apparently had dropped a lot of weight since his Downton Abbey days. And, terrific actor, yeah, lovely to be with.
It's nice to refreshing to see a kind of nice drug trafficker. It kind of complicates things, doesn't it, a little?
Does a wee bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the relationship with TJ, Scudder and TJ? That's an interesting one, Brian Bradley.
Yes.
What are the kind of dynamics there?
Yeah, he's Scudder comes across this character. He's basically a street kid, but he has this exceptional philosophy to life that's his own. When we shot these scenes with Astro, his professional name is Astro. He's a rapper, you know, 16 years of age, 17 now, I guess. The director was very much at pains so that we took all sentiment out of our scenes. Because as a kid, I tend to be a little bit, maybe slightly over-emotional with young people. And I felt my character would do this, and Scott kept saying, no, just be colder, just absolutely treat him as an adult, you know. And when I saw the film, he was right to keep our relationship just very, very strictly adult against adult, you know.
I believe one of your sons was cast in the film at one point. Is that right?
We had 2 fantastic parts. We had Ruth Wilson, who's this wonderful British actress who was playing a DA. Scudder's character had a son that my son Michael was playing. And but when Scott got into the editing room, they just took away from the main thrust of the film. So they were cut out. That happens in films. It's unfortunate, but they just didn't fit. They took you out of the storyline, you know.
How much of your own fight work did you get to do in this film? And how much do you sort of relish that physical aspect of doing a film?
I love doing it. Yeah. Mark Vanslow, who's my stunt coordinator, we've done 16 films together. We've just finished Taken 3, so that's number 17, I think. But so he and I work very, very closely together, and I love doing that stuff. I love doing it. It's like being a kid in a toy shop.
Liam Neeson, thanks very much.
Thanks, man.